Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome. So, I want to appreciate everybody. I want to appreciate you for the little but very mighty support you've shown me in the past few weeks. Thank you. So, today I'll be showing us how to make this beautiful asymmetric jumpsuit for your princesses, and I know you would love it. So, just sit right back, watch, learn, practice, and try something out. So if you're interested, let's go there. So, welcome to my cutting table. So I cut out a piece that I'll be using for the upper bodice, just as I always do. I cut out my armhole, my basic bodice. If you do not know how to cut basic bodice pattern, I have a video on it. So I measured my armhole, my shoulder line came down for my chest line, marked out, measured my waistline, marked out, and the half length I used here was 10 inches. They're supposed to be 9, but I added 1 more inch for sewing allowance. So I went right in and I cut out my shoulder just to be sure that it's actually the same. I had to trim out. So I cut out my armhole, trimmed out just to be on the safe side. Then I did the same thing for my back. But the only difference is that I left 1 inch allowance for my zipper. Oh yes, it's going to have a zip. It is going to have a zipper. So I did the same thing for the back bodies. Everything the same. Just the zipper allowance. So I had to give it a notch so I'll be sure. It's going to be asymmetrical, so I need to be sure of where my zip is starting from. So I opened up my zipper allowance so I can properly get the asymmetric line. So I placed my front bodies on the back bodies, well arranged. So if you notice the neckline, I just used 2 because I'm still going to cut off, so it's not really necessary. So I came down from the armhole of, you can decide to make it either the left or your right hand, whichever you want. So I came down from my shoulder line down to the armhole of the other hand. So if you watch, you will understand what I'm saying. So I tried to use my curved ruler, but I noticed even without curved ruler you can still get the line. So I just wanted to show you in case you cannot trace it without the ruler. In case you cannot trace it with the ruler, you can actually do it without using a ruler. So this is me cutting out my neckline, the asymmetric neckline. You see, that is where the ruffle will be. If you notice, the dress has a ruffle on the neckline. So here's me trying to cut out the lower bodies of this dress. That is the trouser part of it. Yes. So after measuring my desired length, I added an extra 1 or 2 inches at the hem for bending. And for the waist, since it's going to be a jumpsuit, it is advisable to add an extra 1.5 inches or 2 inches depending on the age you are making it for. So here I added 1.5 inches to my already 8 inches that I'm supposed to use for my crotch length. I don't know if you understand. My crotch length here is 8 inches, but I added 1.5 inches because it is a jumpsuit. Then I used 1.5 inches for this curved line here. This extension, this crotch extension, I used 1.5 inches. So if I add 1.5 inches to my already 8 inches that I used, I'll be using in total 9.5 inches. So you can see from the waistline down to the crotch line is now 1.5 inches. So it doesn't become too in such a way that the child cannot bend, cannot pick something from the floor. So I had to add an extra. So for the ruffle, I measured 4.5 inches because I'll be bending and I'll be sewing. So I added the extra 1 inch for both the bending and the gathering, where I'll be gathering. So you see, I will gather and I will bend, I will hem. So welcome to my sewing table. So I went ahead to join the side. If you watch this, you don't even need this explanation I'm doing, but I have to. So I went ahead and joined the sides, leaving my sewing allowance I left. I kept 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. Very important. It is always advisable to leave an extra 1.5 inches or 1 inch for your sewing allowance. Please, if you're yet to subscribe, please do us a favor by subscribing. Turn on your notification bell for update on our next video. Thank you. Please encourage this mommy, encourage her. You see, most of these videos I just do them for illustration. So I went ahead to gather my ruffle, gather the one I'm using on my neckline. So I was done gathering, so I'm going to go ahead and bend. Okay, I have bent already. So I'll be attaching the ruffled part to the neckline. So before that, I went on to turn my armhole. I cut out a long stripe of 1.5 inch that I'll be using to turn the armhole. As you can see, that is exactly what I'm doing. So after turning, you can see how neatly finished it is. So this is for the sleeve, the stripe on the sleeve, on the other side of the sleeve, the one without the armhole. So I'm going to bend, fold into 2, sew and turn it out, turn inside out. Please, as you're watching, endeavor to practice. You can only become perfect if you keep practicing. Watch, practice, and you see yourself doing great, mighty things. So I went on to turn inside out of the one for the sleeve. So you can see this is how it will be. I measured 4 inches. The extra one there will be for joining. So I just had to pin down the gathered ruffle, the gathered piece, the ruffle to the neckline to be sure it is the same length as the neckline. So I went on to attach the stripe to the ruffle and the neckline and the front bodies. I don't know if you understand. So I just placed the stripe in between the ruffle and the dress. So you can see me doing it. I'm already showing it. So I made sure the gathers were evenly distributed to avoid one side looking fuller than the other. So I was done attaching it to my dress. So I'll go ahead and sew down, top stitch. I'll sew down just to keep it in place. So you can see me doing this. This is an easy to make dress. Anyone can try this. You might not get it at first try, maybe the second or the third. So please, if you're here to subscribe, like, comment and share. Please turn on your notification bell for update. Thank you. Thank you for always sticking by us. Thank you for watching. Thank you. So I'm done attaching the stripe and I'm done top stitching. So I went ahead to sew the trouser part. So I went ahead to join both sides. I joined both sides, sorry. So this is the second leg, joining the sides. So I'm trimming out the unwanted parts, cutting out my threads. So I turned right side out. So I'll be joining them by the crotch. So I went ahead to join from one crotch to the other, from one point to the other. So while sewing, you make sure both lines are on the same point, that one side is no longer than the other. So I opened up, you can see me opening up the joining. So I'm done joining. So I'm going to go ahead down and attach this side to the other side. But first, after that, I noticed I had an extra inch. So I'm going to be using it to form a dart for the dress. I'll be distributing that 1 inch into two. That is half inch. I'll be using half inch dart for both sides. It is not compulsory. It is not. As children, they don't need that. But because I had an extra 1 inch, and instead of just cutting it out, I said let me just use it as that. So the length of the dart will be 4 inches. Then the width is half an inch. That is quarter an inch for both sides. So I'm done. I'll go ahead and attach the upper bodies to the lower bodies. So this is me matching up the upper bodies and the lower bodies, just to make sure that both lines are matching. You understand? Both lines are on the same track. So I went ahead and joined. So it's now left with the zipper part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and bend the ankle side. You remember I left an inch, yes, for hemming. So I'm going to utilize that 1 inch I left for hemming. So this is me bending the ankle part just to give it a nice look. Please, if you are yet to subscribe, please do so. Thank you in advance. Like, comment, and share. Thank you. So I went ahead to join my zipper. So please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed our tutorial. For more updates, turn on your notification bell. I promise to always upload nice videos. Thank you for the support so far. For these past few weeks, you guys have done so well. Thank you for sticking by us, by me. Thank you. But please don't forget to subscribe. Just do it. You can do it. It doesn't take 5 seconds. Just tap on that subscribe. So I'm done. I think, yeah, I'm done attaching my zipper. So you can see, neatly finished. So I went ahead to attach the belt. So I measured 3.5 inches in width. I'll be using the 1/2 inch for the sewing allowance, then 40 inches in length. This is not something so difficult. So I went ahead to close both sides. So I'm going to be sewing and I will leave an opening in between, in the middle, maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inches space where I'll be using to turn out. So I went ahead to sew. I'm going to sew till the end and close up everywhere, just leaving that little opening where I'll be turning inside out. So this is me. So I know you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Please do not forget to subscribe,